Learning English with English Faculties.
Welcome to this explainer. Today, let's dive right into Macbeth's psychological descent. We're going to track his tragic journey from being a celebrated hero to becoming a totally ruthless tyrant. We'll be looking closely at the specific scenes to understand exactly how his mind unravels, and we'll keep the English simple and clear as we go. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the hero's fatal flaw, break down the debate, the attack, and the plan of Act 1, Scene 7, and finally look at the massive worldly consequences through the great chain of being and historical allusions. Section 1. The hero's fatal flaw. It's really important to remember that Macbeth doesn't start out as the bad guy. He's a celebrated soldier, a trusted friend, and a true tragic hero. But, like all tragic heroes, he suffers from something called Hamartia. That's a fatal character flaw that causes someone's absolute downfall. For Macbeth, this flaw is his unnatural, totally unchecked ambition. Think of his ambition like a poisoned cup. In fact, he actually calls it a poisoned chalice himself in the text. He knows the drink is toxic. He knows it's going to destroy him, but his craving for power is just so overwhelming that he ultimately forces himself to drink it anyway. Section 2, Act 1, Scene 7, The Debate. Let's zoom right into the exact turning point of the whole story. At this moment, Macbeth is pacing the halls talking to himself. He's just stepped away from the dinner table where King Duncan is eating. He says, "If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly." He is deeply hesitating. He's genuinely terrified of the consequences of committing murder. To put that into really simple modern English, he's saying, if the murder would just be over once the deed is done, it'd be best to get it over with quickly. He understands that violence only teaches more violence. He realizes that killing a king doesn't end the story. It just kicks off this brutal cycle of blood that will eventually come right back around to plague him. This maps out his internal struggle perfectly. On one side, we have his morality. He is Duncan's relative, his loyal subject, and his host. He literally should be locking the doors to keep murderers out, not holding the knife himself. But on the other side, there's his desire, his vaulting ambition. He imagines it like trying to jump onto a horse, but jumping way too high, missing the saddle entirely, and falling disastrously on the other side. He knows his ambition is completely out of balance. Section 3, Act 1, Scene 7, The Attack. Just as Macbeth decides to back out of the murder, his wife, Lady Macbeth, walks into the room and completely wrecks his moral reasoning. At first, Macbeth tries to stand his ground. He tries to defend his honor and put a stop to the assassination plot, telling her, "I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none." In modern English, he's essentially saying, I am willing to do everything fitting for a man. Anyone who dares to do more is not a man. Macbeth clearly sees that murdering a good sleeping king wouldn't make him a brave hero. It would turn him into a monster. But Lady Macbeth is an absolute master manipulator. She launches a vicious attack right at his masculinity. She replies, "When you durst do it, then you were a man." She compares him to the cat in the adage, which is an old proverb about a cat who desperately wants to eat fish but is just too cowardly to get its paws wet. She completely twists his own words around. She tells him, when you dared to do it, you were a man. By becoming more than what you are, you will be more of a man. She argues that true bravery means taking the crown at any cost. She even uses this horrific image to prove her own dedication, saying that if she had sworn to do this deed, she would pull her own smiling baby away and smash its brains out rather than break a promise like he's doing right now. Section 4, Act 1, Scene 7. The plan. Once she shatters his confidence with that intense psychological attack, she smartly shifts gears and gives him a concrete, logical solution. Step 1. Wait until King Duncan is exhausted and fast asleep. Step 2. Get his 2 servants so incredibly drunk with wine that they completely black out. Step 3. Take the servants' own daggers to kill the king. And Step 4. Wipe the blood on the sleeping servants to frame them for the whole thing. It's this cunning, foolproof plan that finally wins him over. He totally surrenders to the deception. He ends the scene by saying, "False face must hide what the false heart doth know." He agrees to put on a pleasant, welcoming show for his guests, all while hiding his dark, murderous intentions. His descent into tyranny has officially begun. Section 5.
breaking the great chain.
To really grasp the massive consequences of Macbeth saying yes to this murder, we have to look at the big picture. In Shakespeare's time, audiences deeply believed in something called the Great Chain of Being. This was a strict, religious hierarchy of all life. God is at the top, then angels, then kings, going all the way down to animals and plants. Imagine a literal, physical iron chain holding the entire universe together. If you snap the king link, the chain breaks, and the whole world falls into total chaos. Because of this belief, the act of regicide, which means killing a king, isn't just a political crime. It is a mortal sin against God. This unnatural act completely destroys the peace of the kingdom, turning Macbeth from a legitimate ruler into an illegitimate tyrant. But even worse, it destroys Macbeth's own mind. His conscience begins to terrorize him, plunging him into a miserable life of paranoia, sleeplessness, and eventual madness.
Section 6. Allusions of moral decay.
Shakespeare uses specific historical and mythological references, which we call allusions, to vividly highlight this rapid psychological drop. Early in the play, Macbeth's bravery on the battlefield is compared to Golgotha, the holy place of crucifixion. He's seen as a righteous, noble soldier. But right before he murders the king, he's compared to Tarquin, a notorious, stealthy Roman tyrant who attacked innocents in the night. He literally drops from being a holy protector to a stealthy predator. And after the murder, the decay is absolute. Macbeth looks at his bloody hands in sheer horror and asks, "Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand?" Neptune is the Roman god of the sea. Macbeth realizes that not even an entire endless ocean could wash away his sin. Instead, his hands would just turn the green seas red. His guilt is permanent, marking a total contrast to the honorable hero we met at the very beginning. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. We know his fatal flaw was ambition, but considering the intense manipulation of Lady Macbeth and the dark prophecies from the witches, was Macbeth's ambition his only downfall, or did others merely push a man who was already falling? Think about how much control he truly had over his own mind in that pivotal scene. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and until next time, keep questioning the story.